Hey guys, how's it going? Nian here. So today I'm going to be talking about a question that gets brought up a few times, and it's whether or not it's worth the time to get the legendary on stage 4. Now that means it's either Abyssal Depths or Siren's Call because both do contain a legendary. And now the answer to that is it depends. Most of the time, no, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it's just, why not get it? It's free, or it'll take a little investment. So the main reason that the answer is no is because, like I had just said, it's the time investment. Is it worth your time is it worth it to take 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, out of your run to potentially get a terrible red item and then just put yourself behind when you could have just left the stage, That's what you have to like kind of assess and ask yourself at the start of that stage, either of those stages, like can I do this or will I be able to do this if I get certain items or see certain items. And now we'll go into it on each stage first, but we'll talk about Abyssal Depths. We'll go into Abyssal Depths first. So on Abyssal Depths, the legendary chest, the item that contains the legendary, is 16 times the cost of a regular chest. Now what that means is that when you spawn in on the stage, if you look around and you don't see more than one combat shrine, and if you do not have multiple Gore's tomes, so more than one, I mean, you can get super lucky, obviously RNG, and get a lot of procs. But if you don't have two or more combat shrines, I feel, and two or more Gore's tomes, it's generally not worth it to go for the legendary at all. That's not always the case, like sometimes you get lucky while you're killing stuff, you get like 5 Gore's tome procs, and there's one combat shrine or something, like, okay, you can you have to assess that for yourself, but unless you see more than one shrine, it's usually not worth the time like waiting around, because you'll wait to get the legendary and then you need to get loot, right? Or else you're going to put yourself too far behind. So that's the reason why you need to look for those shrines. If they're not there, I would say don't bother going for it. But like I said, that's not always the case. Sometimes it's like you see 3 of them right as you spawn, you're like, well, I guess I'll get the legendary chest, right? You also have to realize like your kill speed. Are you able to kill the Elder Lamarians or like elite Elder Lamarians potentially, or elite brass contraptions? Sometimes the answer to that is just no, and you have to let it go, unfortunately. Now, if you're playing Captain, the new character in 1.0, he has a special ability, a hacking beacon, and he can in fact hack the legendary chest. It only takes about 45 seconds. Yeah, so you spawn in as Captain, you run to the legendary chest, put your hacking beacon down, go do something, whatever Captain does, and then come back in 45 seconds and get your legendary. Yeah, so if you're playing him, it's just free. Why not? Right? But yeah, that's how I feel about Abyssal Depths. Now for Siren's Call, it's different. Again, you have to fight to get the legendary on Siren's Call. You have to fight a boss called the Alloy Worship Unit, which you summon by destroying eggs. It's not a chest, and you might be thinking, well, if it's just a boss, can I just kill it? Yes and no. It's very, very tanky, and when it gets low, it gets energy shield, about like 30% of its life or so in energy shield that stays and then goes away after it's done using its attack, just to like give it defense, and then it goes back to having regular health. But it does that occasionally, so that kind of drags the fight out, because when the energy shield pops up, it always has the same amount, right? So you may as well wait for that to go down, unless you can burst through it, which you generally should just not bother doing unless your build's busted. But anyway, for the most part, no, it's not worth it. It's very especially not worth it going for that, just because of how tanky it is, unless you have a lot of bleeds. If you have a lot of bleeds, you can just stack the bleeds up to like 100, 200, and you have decent movement speed to dodge its attack while it's doing the energy shield to just maintain those bleeds. Yes, it's worth it. It'll take you like not even 30 seconds to kill it. Why not, right? But if you don't have great bleeds, or you don't have if you're not playing like Loda, for example, if she has 100% crit, a wedding band or two with some armor piercing rounds, you can probably just burst it down, right, in like 3 punches or something. So it depends. Again, you have to really it's another time investment thing. Is it worth taking 4 or 5 minutes to kill the ally worship unit when some rounds it can only take you about 30 seconds to kill it? that's a question only you can answer. I would say no, it's not, unless you fall into one of those two circumstances. Now, just like with Captain on the Abyssal Depths, certain characters, Mercenary and Rex, can have the potential to one-shot the Alloy Worship unit still, and as of this video. Mercenary can shift through the Alloy Worship unit in a way where he like lands kind of inside of his hitbox and throws the Alloy Worship unit against a wall, one-shotting it. Rex, I've been told, can use his R, that like the AoE latch, like leeching seed thing that like pulls things to the center on the pillar, and then it'll like pull the worship unit into the pillar and one-shot it. I've never done it with Rex. The mercenary thing does still work. I've done it 2 or 3 times, but it's a lot harder to do compared to before. But yeah, those both still work. So if you want to go test that for yourself, I mean, on either of those characters, it's free red if you get it to work. But yeah, other than that, just kind of wrap this up here. If you want a little like too long didn't watch, should you go for the legendary? It depends. I mean, most of the time the answer is always going to be no. It's not worth your time. But sometimes runs, the stars align, right? Like you have the bleed to kill the Alloy Worship unit, you have the damage as certain characters to kill the Alloy Worship unit, or there's a bunch of combat shrines and you have Gore's tomes. You'll get the money to loot the legendary chest without going too out of your way. So again, it's up for you to decide ultimately, but really you need to be concerned about your time and how much time it will take. So hopefully this video kind of answers that question, because I know I have gotten that answered asked a few times, and hopefully this answers that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys again tomorrow.